I've cut the blade out of the blueprint, and I've cut the center part out of the blade, and then traced the center part onto this 1-inch chunk of steel. And those will be the face plates for the die that will press that groove into the actual knife. Okay, now that I got it traced, I'm going to cut it out with the torch. And, we'll see what happens after I get them cut out. There's a view of the rough shape. Now I'll tack these together and clean them up with a grinder so that they're the same. I've got the dies joined together and cleaned up. Got all the torch slag ground down. And it's kind of taking the shape of the paper pattern. Move these magnets here. You can see the black mark. Once I remove all the Sharpie from this, it'll match the paper pattern. At that point, I'll squeeze it in the press, tack it to the corresponding plates, and then everything should line up when it comes to actually squish the metal with it. Okay, I've got the die cleaned up really nice. Both halves are still tacked together. Now I've got my plates cut in the press here. You can see them sliding around here. And then I've got an index mark. It's the shape of the pattern. And then these holes, I'm going to plug weld it from the back side. So the first thing I'm going to do is slide it in and then squeeze it and tack it on this edge on this side. Neat little plug welds. It's rather warm as well. It should just pop apart. Give it a good tap. Here's my two halves. Take it off here for a minute. They fit in there nice and straight. You see those hammer marks in the face of the die? Those have to get ground out or it'll press that in every time I use it. So I'll do that over here on my belt grinder. Now that I have both dies faced and crowned, now the same finish that's on the dies will be transferred to the finished piece. So I want them relatively clean and nice and rounded on the edges. So now it's time to squish that piece of clay. Here we have a representation of a blade being put in the press. Let's see what happens. Of course, it's kind of stuck. Oh well. Here's the impression that the die made in the clay, and then here's the drawing of the knife. So it grew considerably wider, so I think this die is going to work. I may have to take and relieve the dies, maybe make them tapered this way so it doesn't press as much out like that. I will have to heat up a piece of steel and do a test to make sure I get the exact results I'm after. I didn't expect this to squish out the way it did. Interesting. But I'll post another video when I've conducted the test and I'm actually forging the fuller into the blade.